The Starfall Covenant. The fire crackled in the deep forest, throwing dancing shadows onto the gnarled trunks of ancient trees. Sparks drifted into the black sky like tiny dying stars. The old storyteller leaned forward, pulling his cloak tighter against the chill, his voice low and grave. "Listen close," he rasped. "The woods have ears, and the stars watch us. What I'm about to tell you happened long ago, or maybe just last night, depends who you ask. But all agree, it started on a night like this one. Cold, still. Even the wind refused to blow. Out on the western hills, a band of wanderers made camp. They weren't friends. Merchants, mercenaries, lost souls, united only by fear of what hunted in the dark. They lit a fire and forced laughter over weak ale, trying to forget how far they were from any village. Then the world went silent. The fire's hiss faded. The owls stopped calling. Even the insects fell quiet. Above them, the sky split. A line of green light carved the heavens in two, moving too slowly for any shooting star, trailing smoke that burned cold. Where it fell, frost spread like disease, icing the leaves in silver veins. When it hit, the impact roared across the hills, flattening trees and snuffing out the campfire in a gust that stole all sound. When they relit the fire, they could see the glow on the horizon, a steady, sickly green, like a lantern held by the dead. Most wanted to run, but a woman among them, named Mara, insisted they go toward it. "That wasn't a star," she whispered, her voice shaking. "That was a message." They argued, but fear of being left alone in the cursed dark won out. Together, they followed her to the crater. They found not a rock, but a vessel. Metal that rippled with oily colors, dripping molten frost that should have been impossible. Strange symbols pulsed along its hull, writhing like living snakes of light. A hatch hissed open. They raised swords and crossbows. What stepped out was tall and impossibly thin, with skin like ancient parchment and eyes like polished black glass. It spoke in a voice like shifting gravel. Covenant, fulfilled. They didn't understand, but Mara fell to her knees. "I know you," she whispered. "You're one of the Starborn." The creature turned its head toward her, slow and alien. "You will remember," it said. It reached out with skeletal fingers, and though they tried to stop it, the air itself froze them in place. When its fingers touched Mara's brow, she screamed. Her eyes filled with green light. The creature slumped, empty, its symbols fading to dull gray. When Mara stood, she was changed. Her eyes glowed with that sickly green. Her voice echoed with more than one tone. "I know what it wants," she said. "We broke the covenant. It wants us to fix it." The others recoiled, accusing her of possession, of witchcraft. But she spoke of visions, of a seal deep beneath the world, built to imprison something ancient and hungry, a prison growing weak, of an agreement made before memory. The Starborn would watch the stars, and humankind would watch the dark places of the earth. But humans had forgotten. Now the Starborn had sent one last emissary to remind them. Mara gathered those who would listen. She made them swear an oath by firelight, to journey to the mountains called the Broken Spine, to find the seal, to hold back the thing clawing its way free. And though they were thieves and killers, they agreed. Because the glow in Mara's eyes terrified them more than any god. They traveled far. Frost lingered unnaturally in their footsteps. Omens followed them. Rivers ran red without corpses. Wolves that stood like men and spoke in riddles before vanishing. Trees that bled black sap. They met a hermit who warned them, "Turn back. Better to die free than to become its warden." But Mara only smiled with hollow calm. "We made a promise before we could even speak. We will keep it." Some deserted, slipping away in the night. But those who stayed were bound by fear and something like loyalty. They reached the Broken Spine. Jagged peaks loomed under cold stars. Snow there glowed faintly green. They found ancient stone monoliths carved with the same symbols that had adorned the fallen vessel. Mara placed her hand on them and shuddered as the words burned in her mind. "Only those who remember may pass." The mountains split with a thunderous crack, opening a narrow path. They descended into the earth. The tunnels were carved with precision that defied explanation. Symbols shifted when looked at too long. The weight of the world pressed down. They felt it breathing, something vast, asleep. Eventually, they reached a vast chasm they called the Maw. At its center lay a seal, a black disc covered in green glowing symbols, spider-webbed with cracks. From those fissures came whispers, pleading, mocking, promising anything. Mara fell to her knees. "It's awake," she said. her voice small and broken. The others raised weapons they knew would do nothing. The seal bent upward. Cracks widened. A hand forced its way through, a mass of shadow and eyes and teeth. They screamed. But Mara rose, her own eyes now blazing with the green fire of the Starborn. "We remember," she shouted. "We will keep the covenant." She pressed her hands to the seal. Light poured from her, filling every crack. The thing in the pit howled in a voice older than time. The cracks closed. The seal flattened. The whispers turned to howls of rage, then silence. The cavern shook. Rocks fell. Dust choked them. When it ended, Mara was on the ground. Her eyes burned out. Her skin cracked like old clay. She was dead, but she was smiling. They wept over her. They sealed the tunnels as she had taught them, with the dying knowledge of the Starborn. They returned to the surface, different men and women. Haunted, quiet. They told the story to anyone who would listen, because someday the seal would crack again, and someone would have to remember. The old storyteller sat back, letting the silence settle. Sparks floated lazily into the dark. His eyes glinted in the firelight as he leaned even closer, voice dropping to a whisper. "You think it's only a tale?" He tapped the ground beside the fire. "Feel the cold, even with the flames burning strong?" He smiled, wide and gap-toothed. No crickets, no owls. Maybe something fell again, and we're too busy telling stories to notice. So when you sleep tonight, if you hear whispers from the ground, do yourself a favor. Remember and run. The fire popped. Silence fell. The wind picked up at last, rustling the trees with secrets no one wanted to hear. The end.